Hello to you. I am Miles Gordon, the creative director for Dream Prison Wanderer. I would like a moment of your time to speak with you about the advancements we made to this game during last year, 2024. As you may recall from our last video, we released version 3.03 to our playtesters at the end of 2023. With it being summer of 2025, much has changed since then. Nevertheless, 2024 in particular was not a very productive year for us, and we released only 2 new versions before early 2025, when a third update released, that being Alpha version 3.06. Allow me to tell you about version 3.04 to start. The objective early in 2024 was to restructure the Swamp Dungeon, also known as the Lifeblood Bog, to seem more like an outdoor space. We reshaped the location to be more unpredictable, spacious, and open. Thin walkways that connect open space itself now looked more natural. Some of the differences I speak of are subtle to see at a glance, but take a look at this before picture from the middle of 2023. And these after photos taken in early 2024. Other than bug fixing, this was all that we did for version 3.04. We moved slowly at the time because I had a disruptive problem I needed to address in my personal life, which happened to fade while we were working on version 3.05 later, but then came back again as bad as ever in the final third of the year. Version 3.05 was significantly more ambitious and was planned for release on Dream Prison Wanderer's 5th development anniversary, May 15, 2024, a date that we kept. The next addition to the game was 2 more default control schemes. The default controls use a keyboard and mouse, but the first control that I had added was for gamepads players can plug into their computer. After that, I programmed the control scheme for keyboard and number pad to satisfy fans of old-school roguelikes. I have always liked playing computer games with a controller, so the gamepad controls are a pleasant callback to the days when Dream Prison Wanderer was going to be a 3DS release. The game might someday release on platforms such as Switch 2, Steam Deck, or PlayStation 5, so creating gamepad controls was crucial. It was decided that 3.05 was going to add the party member Gadriel, the Angel, back to the game, and it was a great opportunity to update not only his appearance but also Belthachar, who for years was a red cylinder, but ever since then has been sporting his iconic night sky constellation cape and royal iron crown. The last changes made for Alpha 3.05 were unfinished doors between rooms and bug fixes. The doors were my way of dipping my toes into the system in which a door could be opened temporarily to allow passage. But 3.05 had bugs of its own, so I got to work preventing those doors from spawning the wrong places. One such bug. By the midpoint of the year, I had fixed that and was planning my next move. By this time, I had stopped working with my co-designer because his lifestyle did not allow him to continue working together, so he left. In his place, it seemed that having another programmer would be useful for the work ahead because I wanted to add many small features and also work on a big change to the way dungeons procedurally generate. Thus, I hired a young man named Jacob to work on the big ambitious change while I created the smaller content in-game mechanics. While I made the small things, I also supervised him. This proved successful but was not a very fast time in our history. I chose Jacob because I needed somebody who could fit Altiagra's company culture of being cost-effective, and therefore great at survival. We each worked only part-time, so progress was indeed slow, but nevertheless perhaps the most productive Altiagra had been in many years because we were each hard-working. We succeeded in our goals. Jacob made the dungeon maze-like to navigate, while I added functioning proper doorways, as well as rare floor spikes which restrict access to certain rooms on the condition that the player must take damage to enter. Floor spikes are not particularly important to the game and are meant to represent a far greater concept, which is the existence of special rooms which have unique conditions for access, such as taking damage, having the right item in your inventory, or unlocking a special ability. I made many small changes to the game at this time, such as the ability to read old, buried log messages in the Divine Scroll of the user interface. By the end of the year, Jacob and I decided to take a break from working together. Soon after, the problem in my personal life, which had so brutally plagued me, had ended at about the same time. Sadly, only 1 or 2 weeks later, my old problem was replaced with a new problem. Two very tragic things happened to me in December of 2024, which I do not wish to disclose, but what I will say is that it brought back my depression, a depression that I had not suffered from since early 2019 when I was struggling to finish college, as well as perhaps 2022 when I had a near-death experience. In summary, 2024 was a year in which the first major area of the game was the primary focus. We wanted to get the feeling correct, and we wanted to begin adding signature details of the Lifeblood Bog location. Elsewhere, details began to emerge such as the likeness of two main characters and the many controls the game offers players. Just like that, 2024 was over, and so too is this recap. I hope you found this video enlightening, and will stay tuned for a 2025 recap video if I choose to make one. I would like to take a moment to thank Trevor, my ex-co-designer, to thank Jacob, my junior programmer, and the 3 people on the playtester team for helping to make 2024 a success despite a challenging situation. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.